Seul Choix is a French expression which means only choice. A good name for a remote point of land that stretches far out into northern Lake Michigan. Once a safe harbor for the French fishermen who founded the site. Today, Seul Choix is anything but safe. Something in the past has left a sinister mark on this place. A curse upon the residents of Seul Choix.
Seul Choix Pointe is the most haunted area on the Great Lakes. We have more reported activity through the centuries here than we have any other area.
Locals say the most haunted place at Seul Choix is the old lighthouse.
Lighthouses seem to be a beacon for ghosts and spirits. Seul Choix Pointe can be a gold mine for paranormal investigation because something is here, and it's been here for a long, long time. Seul Choix Pointe was extremely treacherous, and it was feared by all of the mariners in northern Lake Michigan. In the 25 shipwrecks that we know sank offshore of Seul Choix, there were at least 500 people that lost their lives. Shipwrecks are a relatively natural occurrence, but some of the other things that have gone on here are really inexplicable.
We've had over 150 documented cases where people have had paranormal activity or experiences. And what we want to do is get down to the bottom of this as to why are these things happening.
The Gulliver Historical Society asked us to come out here and do a documentary on all the supernatural things that happen around here.
I think I'm kind of one of those people who has to see it.
I probably have to see it to believe it, but I actually do believe it from the stories that I've heard.
This is something you guys have to really investigate.
Who do you believe it is?
I believe it's Joseph Willie Townsend. He was lightkeeper here from 1902 to 1910. Mr. Townsend died in the lighthouse, and he had a real terrible death. They could hear him screaming outside. He was in such pain. And eventually he succumbed to cancer. They brought his body down here and embalmed him.
In the basement?
Right here. They bled him here, and his blood drained into these sinks. What is really weird about this, us being down here today, this is the 91st anniversary of Mr. Townsend's death.
Wow.
It's sort of freaky if you ask me.
Wow. Is that common to embalm bodies right in the house that they died in?
From that period of time, the early 1900s, the bodies were embalmed in the house, and they were on view for the whole neighborhood. The body was laid out in the upstairs foyer right in front of the staircase. And we've had a lot of activity right there in that area.
The students interview locals about unexplained experiences.
I looked up there, and I said, my gosh, it's the ghost.
And why do you believe that that was Mr. Townsend up there?
The way he was dressed, his beard, and the buttons on his jacket, it was all very clear and very real.
It sounded like somebody was coming down the staircase here. Couldn't see anybody, but the footsteps were still coming towards me.
We had heard noises in the house, like slamming things against the wall and onto the floor.
We heard from a guy that something about an Indian burial ground that was dug up when they were putting in a road. Do you know anything about that?
The story was that when they put the road in going to the lighthouse, they came upon some bones and artifacts of certain sorts.
They went through this sand hill, and when they did, they pushed out these Indian graves, played with their heads, put sticks in the sand, stuck their head on it.
Do you believe that her spirits are still in this house?
I believe they are, and they're unsettled.
There's got to be a spirit there that loves to play tricks on you, loves to let you know that it's there with you when you're there.
We smelled the smoke, both of us in this room over here. We smelled the smoke very strong.
Do you guys ever go look around to see if anybody in the building is smoking cigars?
Yeah, yeah, we always look. If we smell it, we check it.
Do you know anything about the silverware?
I have seen the silverware change. Sometimes I work here till 6 o'clock the night before, And the next morning I'll come here and the fork will be in the plate like that.
So you're gonna show us the mirror?
Yeah. It was a PBS station. Came out and they stayed all night in this lighthouse, and they had a camera in this room, and when they played the camera back, this mirror was all steamed, and a picture of Mr. Townsend was right in the mirror.
Here are some of the things that we experienced. Now, you might have noticed the mirror. We saw two distinct faces in the mirror. The top face had a skeletal-looking jaw which melted into the next face. We saw it, my whole crew saw it. Nobody can explain that.
We should do that. That'd be cool. We should ask if we can spend the night at the lighthouse.
Yeah, we should. Maybe we could actually hear the footsteps going up and down the stairs or upstairs or whatever.
It always seems that it ends when the people go to look for it, or it ends when they stop to hear it.
So, I don't know, maybe it'll be different for us if we go stay out there.
I would like to have something happen to me so I can actually prove that there's ghosts in the lighthouse.
He has been known to change the pages in the Bible.
Hopefully this might make me a total believer, might not.
Do you believe in ghosts?
That day I did.
Hopefully it is haunted, because that would be cool.
Coming up next, a night in the lighthouse.
You guys ready for this?
Definitely smell it.
It's on a different page, you guys.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God. Oh my God, you guys gotta rewind it.
But it's not right.